Wow.
Speaking of, it takes a lot of work. Or there's special people behind, I should say, that put in the work to make us enjoy life and reading and listening so much. But one of those people is a special guest of ours. We have Claudia Martinez. So your books include The Smell of Old Lady Perfume, Big Park, and Not a Bean. Those are titles, aren't there?
Yes, those are titles. I also have, so Not a Bean is now a series, and there's another book called Not a Monster, which is about an axolotl, and kids really love that one. And then the latest book in that series is Not a Dog, which is about prairie dogs. And that actually just came out this week, so
really?
I'm really excited to be able to share that with you.
You have to be a proud, proud author. I got to ask you, how do you start being a children's book author?
Honestly, I always knew I wanted to write since I was 7, and I was writing books at the age of 7. And then I started getting older, and I thought I really just want to do this, and I kept doing it. And I knew that I needed to write for children because that's who I related to the most in terms of being a reader. So I've always loved reading children's books. I read them all the time with my children. I don't really read adult books these days, but I know I'm a little embarrassed to say that, but I love children's books.
You know what? That's okay, because I have a feeling if I were to listen or read some children's books, I would enjoy them very much so too. But you also have such vibrant artwork on your covers as well, and probably inside. What I got to ask you, what kind of role do libraries play in your journey as an author?
Oh, libraries are so important. As a kid, libraries were a big deal. That's how I learned to be a writer. I learned to be a writer by reading, just constantly reading. So when kids ask for advice and they want to be writers, I say, read as many books as you can. Even if you read a book and you don't like it, it shows you what you don't like, and it shows you what you want to write by knowing what you don't want to write.
I like that. Yeah.
Do you find inspiration from your kids, or what is your inspiration for some of your books that you have in your hand here?
So I find a lot of inspiration in the world around me, and just for me, I write a lot of STEM books, so a lot about nature and a lot about history, and so I'm also inspired to write about my own life. So my first book, The Smell of Old Lady Perfume, was about my experience growing up in Texas, and so I just I take inspiration in everything around me, and I do write a lot for my kids. So I started writing picture books because I had babies, and now those babies are older, so I'll probably go back to writing some older kid books. But yeah, definitely inspiration in everything.
I am always fascinated by kids' books. And now, do you do some of the artwork yourself, or do you inspire the artists who then carry it on and then take it to completion?
I want you to hold up some of them too, so that you can kind of walk us through.
I'd like to try Not a Monster.
So Not a Monster. Yeah. This is an axolotl.
I'm going to hold that. I just love. It's a what?
Axolotl.
Axolotl. All right. Well, I just love that this is a series. Not a dog, not a monster, not a bean, not a dog. I love what you've done here.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't do any artwork. I wish I was an artist. So I always tell my kids, they really love drawing, and I tell kids that I meet, that if that's something that they want to do, that's definitely a need in the writing community. People who can write and do their own artwork are definitely like rock stars in the children's writing world. I do wish these were my pictures that I drew, but they're not. I've been very lucky, though, that I've had a good say in who the artists are in the books. I've worked with some really good publishers that have allowed me to have input into that, and actually this book, which is Still Dreaming, that came out a few years ago, was actually illustrated by a Chicagoan. Her name is Maggie Mora, and she's also a big fan of Chicago Public Library. So, she grew up in the libraries here, and just like me, going to the library. And I actually found her on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how I came across her, and I said to my publisher, this is who I want to do my book. And she did, and so I've been really lucky because she also won a big award for this, the Pura Belpre, which is an ALA award for illustration. And yeah, I'm very proud of the book and having found her.
You know what, I just opened up this your kids' book here, and I learned 2 new words on 2 new pages. An amarilla that eats everything in sight, and a rosados that eats some other stuff. But They're not monsters.
Okay, so we're going to give you
I
some
learned.
time with the book,
Okay,
but
I need it.
Chicagoland, you're native to Chicago, or you're moved to Chicago. You've been here for 25 years, so we can call you a true Chicagoan and author Claudia Martinez. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be sure to link your books on our website so people can check them out as well. All right, we will have much more. Remember, Fox32, we're teaming up with Chicago Public Libraries for Chicago Reads Together. We will have much more on our website, but don't leave.
Yes.
We have so much more after
That's
this
right,
break.
because we're not monsters.
One of my favorite books